Good morning. Glad to be with you this morning. Up a little bit earlier than usual. It's about 7:24 a.m., which is early for me. Usually get up about 7. Had an unfortunate cat situation in the bed this morning, and so we had to get up and remake the bed. And so, yeah, couldn't get back to sleep. So decided to go ahead, get up early, walk the dog, which is good because it's going to be in the high 90s again today, and so it is better to get out and walk the dog early before it gets any hotter than it already is. So this morning I want to talk to you about the difference between online and offline files. This is kind of important. One of the questions I often get when I'm working on someone's computer, and I tell them that I have to reload their operating system because it's got such a bad virus, or maybe I had to replace the hard drive or what. They ask if I can save their files, and so I tell them, well, it depends which kind of files you're talking about. Of course, you cannot save program files. Like if you have Microsoft Office loaded on your computer, you can't just save that. You can't just copy all those files from one computer and put them onto the other computer. You have to install a program. You can't just copy a program. There's registry entries. There's files that have to go all over the place on a hard drive, and they have to all be in a certain place. And so that doesn't work. You can't just copy, you have to install. And so those kind of program files, we cannot do that. Now, user files are a different story. We can save pictures, photos, documents, things like that. And so I explain that to people, and then they ask, I need to save my emails. And so the first question I have to ask them is, how do you retrieve your email? And they usually say these days that like they go to a website to get it. Like they'll go to CenturyLink, or they'll go to Time Warner Cable, or they will go to Gmail. And so I have to kind of explain to them that those kinds of files, those email files, are not actually on their computer. They are on someone else's computer, basically, either out in California or down in Raleigh or wherever their email server happens to be. That's where those files really are. And I think this is something a lot of people don't think about. How much of what we do in computing today involves online file storage of any sort. And so that is a crucial thing to think about when you're setting up your email, or when you're thinking about doing backups. Where are your files going? Are they on your local machine? Are they on the machine you're sitting there in front of? Or are they on someone else's machine? So, like I've said, most people go to a website to get their email, and so that's all well and good, and there's nothing wrong with doing it that way, of course, but you have to understand that if you don't have internet access, then you don't have access to those emails. You can't get to them because you don't have an internet connection to reach that server. Now, if you have a program such as Outlook, which is not Outlook.com, by the way. Outlook is a part of the Microsoft Windows Office suite. Or if you have a free email retriever such as Thunderbird, then yes, those emails that show up in those programs are actually on your hard drive and are accessible at any time, including the attachments that may be attached to them. And so, if you really want your own copy of everything, then you need to set up an email client on your computer. And that way, and of course you can set it up so that the emails come to your computer and they get deleted off of that remote server, or you can set it up so that they stay on both. Either way works. Having them on both machines or both places probably is the best. That way you have access to your webmail from any device, and then yet when you have your computer, you still have your emails there that you can look at. Even though if you're offline, you can't send or receive emails. But be that as it may, that's something to think about. Another situation where the lines between online and offline get blurred is when you're using backup software. Where are the files being sent with your backup software? Are they a copy on your local machine, or are you using Dropbox or OneDrive or some other cloud-based solution to keep your backup files? Again, there are advantages to both. If they're online, of course, they're accessible from any device, but if you don't have an internet connection, they're not accessible at all. And so, it's always a balancing act to decide what you want to do, but then again, it's your decision, it's your machine. And so, but I just wanted to bring that up, that there is a difference between online and offline. Offline is considered not connected to the internet, is basically what that word means when we're talking about it in a computer sense. Online means you are connected to the internet. And so something that's online is a file that's not on your machine, it's a file that's on someone else's machine. And offline is a file that is only on your machine and is accessible at all times to you on that machine. So just thought we'd talk about that a little bit to kind of clear up, or just to kind of make you think about it a little bit. How are you, how is your email set up? How is your backup set up? Hopefully you are backing up. The rule is if it's not backed up in 3 places, it's really not backed up. Backups in the digital world are a somewhat fragile thing. Anything can happen anytime, and so make sure you have your 3 backups. And I would say the same thing for your emails. And if it's really important to you, learn how to back up those Outlook files or those Thunderbird files to another device so that you'll always have them. Anyway, that pretty much covers, wasn't really a big subject, but an important subject. And so next time, I think in terms of online file storage, I think next time we're going to talk a little bit about file encryption and how really desperately important it is that you encrypt your files. I'll give you a real life personal story about how I found out almost the hard way about the frailty of the security involved with online file storage. And so until then, see you later.